That's always been our weapon. We read it, we see it, we've been taught it, we live by it, we apply it. That's our weapon. Keep reading.
And powerful.
It's powerful. Go ahead.
And sharper than any two-edged sword.
It's sharper than any two-edged sword. It does a lot of damage. A whole lot of damage. We're not wrestling against flesh and blood. So we have to know this word. We have to know this word, and we have to actually use it so that it can be that two-edged sword that fights these principalities, that fights these powers in high places for us, that fights these spiritual wickedness. That's the only weapon we have that'll work. Keep reading.
Piercing even to the dividing of soul and spirit.
So it pierces to the dividing of soul and spirit. Think about it. You have your soul. Your soul is pure. Your soul is natural. Everybody's soul is pure. But we have these spirits. The spirits is the spiritual wickedness that's coming against us. The spirits are the thoughts that's coming to taint our soul. So how do you fight against that? Because it said, read that last part again.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit.
So you have your soul, which is natural. You have your soul, which is the righteous man that's in you. Your soul is your conscience. Your soul is that good voice that's in you. That righteous, pure voice. And you have the spirits. That's the negative thoughts coming against you. So the two-edged sword is made to fight those spirits that are coming against your soul, to taint it, to destroy it. And that's our fight. Our fight's never carnal, man. We ain't fighting nobody else. If somebody comes against us in a contentious spirit, that spirit is trying to, that spirit that they're coming in is trying to taint our soul. So what we have to do, we gotta use the word of the Most High. Because it says it right there. Read it from the top, brother.
Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing of asunder of soul and spirit.
So the Most High's word, that's what's going to pierce and divide and take away that spirit from you. Because remember, the Most High says that we cover with a spirit, but we cover with a covering, but not of His spirit.
Isaiah.
That's the Isaiah kind. So a lot of times, man, we can cover with lust spirits. We can cover our soul with these lust spirits, with these envious spirits, these
malicious,
backbiting,
all these different demons that attach
kind.
So easily. All the sin that so easily besets us, right?
God.
But then, like the brother's going to go on and say, or we can cover our spirit with the wisdom of the Most High.
Right.
That's what you was going to say.
Oh, I was actually going to say
oh, no, man.
The wisdom of the Most High.
Right.
That's the word that takes it off.
Oh, yeah.
That's the weapon.
Yeah, that's the weapon.
Because it covers us, right? So how do you get it off? How do you fight against it?
Oh, can I get one?
Oh, God.
Hebrews 10 and verse 22.
Hebrews 10 and verse 22.
Go ahead.
Let us draw near with a true heart.
Right. See, because the way you get it off, you got to draw near to the Most High in purity. How do you do this, you ask? Read on.
In full assurance of faith.
Yeah,
faith.
you got to have full faith. Without faith, it's impossible to please the Most High. Go ahead.
Having our hearts sprinkled.
Having your what?
Our hearts sprinkled.
Having your mind cleansed. Go ahead.
From an evil conscience.
Right. Through the word. Through the defending, through the weapon of the word. Read on.
And our bodies washed with pure water.
Right. The washing by the water of the word. Y'all see that? That's the defense. That's the weapon. So that goes right along in there. You can jump back.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to get that. It hit me.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Keep reading.
I'm in the spirit tonight.
And of the joints and marrow.
So, yeah. So the Most High's word runs deep. Goes all the way to the joints and to the marrow. Keep reading.
And is a discerner of the thoughts and intentions of the heart.
So yeah, so we're supposed to, when we have this wisdom, and our mind is always on the wisdom, we're put in a situation to exercise the wisdom. We're supposed to be able to discern what's going on with this person's thoughts. Why is this person looking at me like this? Is the Most High tempting me? Or is the Most High checking me? Like, get back on the path. Why is there turmoil? Why is there turmoil between me and my husband or me and my wife? What am I doing wrong? You're supposed to use the wisdom to be able to discern the thoughts and the intentions of the heart to see before it becomes a weapon.
Right, no, and I was going to say, but you hit it. You're supposed to use it to discern what's going on with me.
All right.
Because at the end of the day, it don't matter what this person's doing. Because if the wisdom is your defense comes in that application and through that examining of yourself. So you can look at me however the hell you want. My reaction should be now what? If it's in wisdom, right? I'm not gonna stress that. You know, or I might come, the scripture say, a soft answer turn away much wrath. So you looking at me, staring me up and down, am I gonna step to you like, nigga, what's up? What you staring at me for? What you looking at? You got a problem? I'm gonna be like, hey, what's going on? Can I help? Did you need something? Or hey, you know me from somewhere? Or, you know, something that's not gonna start conflict. So it's really about examining, letting the word discern your thoughts. Because it's not going to discern another person's thoughts until you start speaking the word. Yeah. Right? When you start hitting them with the wisdom now, guess what happens? Now they got to sit back and start thinking about themselves like, damn, he had a point. Damn, he was right about that. Damn. But it's about discerning your thoughts so you don't make the wrong action. What's up?
It's funny, like when you said that, like coming up to someone like, you got a problem?
Yeah.
I remember people used to, you know, Cali, they said that all the time. Walking down the street.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you got the wrong color on.
Yeah.
You like, you got a problem? What's up, cuz? You got a problem?
What's up, cuz?
And I'm like, no, I ain't got no problem. You got a problem? You want to talk?
Yeah.
And it's like, ah, man, you square ass niggas.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. It's like, you coming at me like you got a problem. So I'm asking you, do you want to talk?
Right. Well, see, that never really ends well. Right? In most situations. Listen, I grew up in New York City. I remember one time I was riding the train. And I guess the dude in front of it, like we all sitting in the train, it's packed as a mug. And he's sitting there, and I guess the dude kept looking up and staring at the other dude, like it was like a cross. And all of a sudden you hear like, yo, what the F you looking at? What the F you looking at? And it's like, I look up like, huh? But then and then they start banging right there in the train. Because it was like, what the F you looking at? Nigga, what the F you talking about? What the F you looking at? And then it was like, well, nigga, what you gonna do? Then it's like, what you gonna do? So, you know, Judah, you know, Israel ain't no punk.
God.
Israel can't back down from anything. They can't take low. So it's like, well, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. So we gonna box it out in the train in front of everybody. And look like buffoons. You see, but that's how it always starts. It always starts when you stepped on my 10-cent sneaker. You stepped on my Michael Jordan.
Right.
That cost $3 to make, but you paid $150 stupidly. But you stepped on it and put a little dirt on there. So now I got a beef with you.
Right.
You know, now I got a beef with you. But you know what I mean? Listen, you know how many pair of shoes I own? You know how many times my shoes have been stepped on? I'm like, man, it's a shoe. It's on the damn ground. All the time. So if it get dirty, so what? Toothbrush and some soap. We good. Right? We good. But everybody don't, and I didn't need the Bible to tell me that. I just knew that, oh yeah, every cat that gets into a fight is over somebody stepping on his Chuck Taylor. Come on, man. We gotta do better. You know? But go ahead. Stepping on your $19 Chuck Taylors. Believe it or not, there was a time when Chuck Taylors were like $9. They ain't no different than back in the 70s. Alright? Y'all just paying like $80 from now because you get beat over the head, but it's a $9 shoe. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta quit it, man.
Go to Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 18.
Step on my Chuck Taylor.
Chuckies. All right, go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 12, verse 18.
And give me Jeremiah 5 and 14 afterwards. But Proverbs 12 and 18.
Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 18. There is that speaketh like the piercing of a sword.
So the Most High's word, it's that two-edged sword, right? So when you speak it, it can be a very, very powerful sword. Go ahead.
But the tongue of the wise is health.
But it says the tongue of the wise is health. So your mouth can get you in some trouble. But the wise, we're going to use our mouth to get us out of the situation, which is better for our health.
God.
Just like what you were saying, right? Like what you were saying, I was like, damn, this scripture's perfect for it. But yeah, it's like, okay, somebody comes at you the wrong way. What are you going to do? You're going to match that force? You're going to match it with words? Or are you going to use your tongue the correct way? It says, but the tongue of the wise is health. Use wisdom. You won't have to scrap it out with that person. Your health will be good.
God.
See, a lot of times, man, when we get in these contentions, we're about to fight somebody. What's the fighting really going to do? We're fighting over our pride because we're proud. We're trying to seem cool. We're trying to look good. That's the only reason we're fighting. We're trying to protect some form of honor.
Your pride can't be touched.
Yeah, your pride can't be touched. It's foolishness, man. It's foolishness. But it says the tongue of the wise is health. The wise are going to use their tongue for their health. They're going to be humble. The wise will be humble and actually take the low road, spit on the fire, look like a punk, I guess, to people, but get out of it. And who knows? Look at the bigger picture. You might be able to teach that brother. You might be able to show that brother why you act like this, why your spirit is different from his spirit. But if you fight that brother, that's it. A brother lost is, what does the scripture say? It says a brother offended is harder to be gained than...
It's harder to be gained than a city lost.
Than a city lost?
A strong Proverbs.
It's, let's find it. Quoting it. Let's find it.
Okay. Yeah, it's in Proverbs. But yeah, you could, instead of helping that brother, instead of taking the low road and then coming back and showing him or quoting the scripture, what we gonna do? Gonna fight that brother instead? Play to the contentious spirit?
Here it is. It's Proverbs 18 and 19. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle.
Think about that. Think about that. That's why it says to stay away from contentions. Stay away from contentions. It says he's harder to be won than a strong city. Think about one country trying to come up against America right now. It'll be hard as hell for that country to win with all the weapons that America has. But it says, the scripture says that a brother is even harder to be won than that. So if our job is to be kings and priests, teachers, we're ordained to be prophets, we're ordained to be examples, how are we gonna fight a brother? How are we gonna play into that spirit? And somebody else looking at us as examples, and they see us fighting, being contentious, not exercising the wisdom, and we lose that brother because of our actions. They get offended. It says they're harder to be won than a strong city. So you got to think about that. We're always that example. But hit Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 14. What we're seeing no weapon formed against you shall prosper, but now we're seeing what our weapons are. Our weapons are not carnal. Our weapons are not carnal. So what are we battling? We're battling spiritual wickedness, high powers. So how do we fight that? By using the word of the Most High, which is the wisdom. Go ahead and read that. Jeremiah 5 and 14.
Wherefore thus saith the Lord power of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words and thy mouth fire.
Yeah. The words that the Most High gave us, when we speak it, it's fire. It's straight fire. Finish it.
And this people would.
And whoever we speak it at, whatever spirit we speak it at, or against, or towards, it's like wood. It's like lighting wood on fire. Go ahead.
And it shall devour them.
It's going to devour them. It's going to destroy them. It does not have to become physical ever. It shouldn't have to. Because the Most High's word, that's all we need. That's all the weaponry we need. And armor as well. Go to Jeremiah 23 and verse 29. Just on the Most High's word being a fire.
Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 29.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Is not my word like a fire?
Is not the Most High's word like a fire? Is not the Most High's word that fire, that unquenchable fire that's gonna burn these spirits up? Don't we set these streets ablaze when we street speak? You see all the spirits come out, everybody hating on us. Why? Because their spirit is getting touched. Those spirits are getting cut. They're hearing things that they don't want to hear. That's the Most High's word being that fire. Go ahead, keep reading.
Saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces.
That's our weapon. That's all the weapons we need. That's all the weaponry. It's never going to become physical. We're never going to need guns. Is it good to have it? Yeah. It's great to have it. But the Most High's word, the weaponry will never be our confidence. Our confidence is always in the Most High's word. We know that's all we need. It's that. Go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say it's that hammer that'll break a rock into pieces. It's that hammer that destroys everything. The Most High's word. Go ahead.
You know the ones that are so quick to be violent with their own people, but then it's like Esau's out there like shooting your people and you scared to go deal with them. Mm-hmm. What the hell sense does that make? You like real quick to rough up your woman, right? You quick to get physical with her and rough her up, but out here in the streets every single day, why you don't go rough up the drug dealer that's on your corner? Why don't you go rough up the pimp that's on your block? Why don't you go rough up the niggas in front of your house that's just causing chaos? Why don't you take that anger, that misplaced, displaced wisdom, and put it to some, it wouldn't even be put to good. Because again, let's go back. Where did Christ ever go and just start fighting the Pharisees and start fighting the Sadducees? He didn't. He used wisdom. But the point is this, you can't be quick to throw your anger out on something that you know. Think about it. You start beating up on your woman, you know you can whoop her, right? Where's the strength in that? No, for a man to go beat up on his wife, knowing that you can win that battle at any time. You're automatically stronger than her. Where is that? That's a coward move. Right? But if you really want to take physical action, why don't you take it on somebody that's literally actually doing wrong? Why don't you go take it out on the people that's killing your people? Right? But no, you don't do that because the coward in you is telling you what? I'm going to go out there and get whooped. Right? I'm going to go out there and get beat up and embarrassed. The wisdom that you are applying is let me not go out in the streets and get whooped on. Right? Instead of saying, let me use the wisdom to challenge the spiritual wickedness in high places. Let me use the wisdom to discern the thoughts of men that are doing evil and show them about themselves. Let me use the wisdom as this mirror that I can now point at individuals so they can see themselves and say, damn, I'm off. But see, men don't do that. A man that's not in his right mind, he ain't gonna do that. He just gonna rely on his physical strength, bullying his rib, bullying his kids, bullying brothers, because he's carnal as hell. Until what happens? Somebody comes along and bullies him.
Those spirits win.
Yeah, the spirits and the physical.
Yeah.
There's always somebody bigger and badder.
And he loses that. He just loses it. He loses the war physically and carnally.
Mm-hmm.
But hit Ecclesiastes 51 and verse 22.
How many more scriptures you got?
I'll go finish it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I was trying to undo it. Get it all out.
Bring it out!
But Ecclesiastes 51 and 22. Let's see what weapon the Most High blessed us with. Let's see our reward, because we already know the Most High blessed Esau with the sword, right?
Right.
So how we gonna fight Esau with a sword?
Well, that's his blessing.
Exactly.
That's his God-given blessing.
So let's see what our God-given blessing reward is. Ecclesiastes 51 and 22.
You know?
Ecclesiasticus chapter 51 and verse 22. The Lord has given me a tongue for my reward.
The Most High gave us a what?
A tongue for my reward.
Jacob used what?
A tongue for my reward.
See, Jacob used his tongue. He used wisdom. He used wisdom as his reward to get what he wanted. So what do we use? We use wisdom. We use the wisdom of the Most High. The Most High blessed us with a tongue, so guess what? We're able to speak. We're able to speak his word. And that's our weapon. That's our blessing. We're able to speak his word. And that gets us out of everything. Every situation. That's what sets the streets on fire. And read that last part.
And I will praise him therewith.
Yeah, we praise the Most High with our tongue. Why? Because we know that the Most High is the one that gives us the victory. It's never our own strength or our own. It's never us that gets us out of any situation. It's always the Most High. He's the one that gives us the wisdom to get out of certain situations when we apply it correctly. He's the one that.
No, I was going to say, he puts us there and gives us the wisdom to get out of everything. He puts us in every situation.
It's the test. It's the test. We study to take the test. And all of our tests are pop quiz. We never know when they're coming. We live this world, we live this life, and a pop quiz shows up, and it's our job to recognize, okay, I'm in a test. This situation is a test. This is a predicament. This is a situation that I got to use the wisdom, what I've been studying, to get out of, to pass the test, to pass the pop quiz. It's a pop quiz. But jump to Psalms chapter 119 and verse 13. Especially when you read this book of Maccabees, Maccabees never went to war without giving praise to the Most High first. He always reassured his men. The Most High is the one that gives us the victory. He always prayed with his men. We're going to touch on one of those scriptures too as well. But read that, Psalms 119 and verse 13. And then we're going to get 2 Maccabees chapter 7 and verse 34.
Psalm chapter 119 and verse 13. With my lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth.
So we're going to jump into the judgment portion of the class, the Most High's judgment. And let's read it again from the top.
With my lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth.
So with the Most High's wisdom, that's what we use, and we declare all the judgments. That's what makes us be able to declare the judgments. We're put in the situation to exercise the wisdom. We're either going to use our mouth and speak the Most High's wisdom, or we're going to speak what our mind wants us to think. Either way, it's going to be a judgment. But either way, it is the Most High's judgment as well. But if we use the wisdom, we get the proper judgment. The Most High blesses us. He takes us out of the situation. We don't use the wisdom, you get the just judgment. You get that ass whooping. You get fired from your job. You get put in a situation where you're going to lose your job, or you're going to lose this, or you make the situation worse. You make the judgment worse. We'll read that, 2 Maccabees 7 and verse 34.
2 Maccabees chapter 7 and verse 34.
And before you read that, if I can go into the judgment of the Most High a little bit. So we know that our weapons are not carnal. We know that no weapon formed against us shall prosper as long as we're doing what we need to do. And we know that our weapons in this warfare is not carnal. And we also know now that the weapons of our warfare, our weapons is the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High. That's our weapons. So now, let's see what the judgment of the Most High is, and why we trying to take up a physical or a carnal fight to try to get our own judgment is BS compared to what the Most High can do. Forget what we can do. What can we do? I can shoot you. I can kill you. That's it. I can beat you up. You get a broken nose. You might break a teeth. Busted lip. That's it. Let's see. Let's go into the judgments of the Most High and why we're way better off leaving it to Him. Why what He does is way worse than anything that we could ever think of. So we'll leave it to Him. You gonna say something?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You got it.
All right. 2 Maccabees 7:34. Go ahead.
2 Maccabees chapter 7, verse 34. But thou, O godless man, and all other most wicked, be not lifted up without cause, nor puffeth up the uncertain hopes, with uncertain hopes a lot, lifting up thy hand against the servants of the Most High.
Yeah, when somebody's coming against us, this is the Most High's warning to them. I'm gonna run through this real quick because it's really good. Verse 35. Go ahead.
For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of the Almighty God.
It says the judgment of the Almighty God, not your judgment. It is not your judgment. You do not avenge yourselves. You do not take the judgment into your own hands. Keep reading.
Who seeth all things.
The Most High sees everything. Somebody does you wrong, somebody looks at you wrong, don't worry, the Most High sees it. Keep reading.
For our brethren, who now have suffered a short pain, are dead under God's covenant of everlasting life.
So if you were to die, you know that you have you know you have the promise of heaven waiting for you as long as you're doing what the Most High wants. Keep reading.
But thou, through the through the judgment of the Most High, shall receive just punishment for thy pride.
So we know them. We know we do what we need to do. We're getting to the kingdom. But those that act up, we know that the judgment of the Most High, He has a just punishment for them. A just punishment. How many of us will actually deliver a just punishment? Think of the cruelty that we think of. Think of the cruelty that we think of to do to some of these people. We don't even know them. We see a police officer shoot a brother down. Think of the cruel punishment that we think that we would want to do to this person. But we don't know their whole life from a child coming up. So we will not give a just judgment. We just give them a judgment out of our feelings. You gonna say?
Yeah, and the point is in verse 35 where it says the Most High who seeth all things. See, you can't see everything as a carnal man. Plus, like he was saying, the just judgment. If you're not in the spirit of Isaiah 11:1, then your judgment's going to be off. Because you judging things through what it looked like, what it might look like, what it might be, but not the spirit of things. It's like David. He said, I hate them that hate you. He didn't say I hate them because of their skin color. I hated them because they cooked a certain thing. I hated them because they look like something. Well, he looks like Ham, so I gotta hate him. Yeah, he looks like Esau, so I'm gonna hate him. Nah, he said I hate them that hate you. I hate them with a perfect hatred. The perfect hatred was the fact that they went against the Most High. You see that? His judgment was just because he was in the spirit. He wasn't going off of his feelings like a lot of us do. He was able to look at everything and calculate everything through what? Through wisdom. Right?
All right, keep reading.
Verse 37.
Verse 37.
But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers.
And that's what we do. We're that living sacrifice. We're that sacrifice. Keep reading.
Beseeching the Most High that He would speedily be merciful unto our nation.
And why are we that? Why are we offering our bodies as that sacrifice? Because we love our people. Why would we take the low road when somebody comes at us in a negative way? Because we love our people. And we want to see our people delivered out of this mess that they're in. We want to see them delivered. Keep reading.
And that thou, by torments and plagues, mayest confess.
And that thou, now he's talking about, in the story, he's talking about the king. How his judgments is going to be torments and plagues. Go ahead.
That He alone is the Most High.
And it says, and that thou by torments and plagues mayest confess that He alone is God. Verse 38.
And that in me and my brethren the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon all our nation, may cease.
So we got to see, man, a lot of times, man, the judgment that the Most High brings, it's just. The Most High brought that justly. Slavery, that was justly brought upon our nation. Us losing our land, us being in the ghettos and the slums, us being in the position where we're in right now, it was justly brought upon us. That's the judgment of the Most High. What can you do? Can we put a white man into slavery? Can we put, for doing what he did, can we put, if somebody looks at us wrong, can we put him into slavery? Can we do the things that the Most High has done? That's what the Most High did to us. Imagine what he did to our enemies, man. So you leave the judgment in his hand. We're going to run through these real quick. Somebody give me Job 8:3, and then Job 11:6, and then Job 19:29. All right, Job 8:3.
Doth God pervert judgment?
That's a question. So we got to always remember, does the Most High pervert his judgment? Does he go overboard? No, he does not. Keep reading.
Or doth the Almighty pervert justice?
So we got to ask ourselves this too. Does the Almighty pervert justice? He does not pervert his judgment, and he does not pervert his justice as well. So we got to see that and think whenever we got to think upon that whenever we're thinking, man, I want to take this into my own hands. I want to act this certain way. Because whatever is brought upon us, it's not a perverted judgment or a perverted justice that the Most High will put. Read Job 11:6.
Job 11, verse 6.
Go ahead.
And that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom.
How are we able to learn the secrets of wisdom? We have to be put in the situations we have to be put in the situations to exercise it so that we can learn the secrets of it. Keep reading.
That they are double to that which is.
And a lot of times when we actually do understand what the Most High has us doing, it's like, wow. I remember when I didn't understand them all.
Right.
And now it's like, oh, wow. It's way more than what you thought. It's like, okay, you was watching videos online. Now you're actually in class learning. And it's like, wow, it's way more.
Yeah, it's like you trying to learn how to fight on YouTube, and then you actually get into a fight, and you're like, damn, okay, that's what that is? My blocking ain't right. My kicks wasn't strong enough. Right? Ain't nothing at all.
You didn't block with no power.
You didn't block with no power because why? You never been in that fight. But see, you got brothers that think that it's about let me learn and never get into that fight to actually use and apply what you know, right? But that's the difference. Is it's a whole different life.
Keep reading.
Now therefore that God exacteth of thee less than thine iniquity deserveth.
Think about that. Whatever situation you're in, man, whatever state you're in, always remember the Most High. You know what? Read it again. I can't say it any better. This is something that we all need to think upon, man. Whenever we're thinking to not be merciful, whenever we're thinking, damn, I'm not gonna take the low road, I'm not gonna be humble, I'm gonna match this person with what they're matching me, the same spirit. Read that last part again.
Now,
therefore, no. It says no.
Know therefore that God exacteth of thee less than thine iniquity deserveth.
Something to think upon. He always gives us less than we deserved. The slavery was less than we deserved. All the STDs, man, all the pork.
I'm sorry.
I mean, might as well should have fell out. all that is less, man, than we deserved. So you got to think about it.
No, but it's
Yeah.
real. Think about it. The Most High, listen, when the scriptures say the Most High is compassionate and full of mercy, your ass should have been wiped off the face of the earth, running around, sticking your Peter and everything, pimping women, trying to get into fights, disrespectful, prideful, stiff-necked, bald-headed beast. Right? You should have been wiped. Like, think about it. The Most High, when you're dealing with Moses, right? What was he ready to do? He's ready to wipe out the nation and raise up stones to worship him. Think about it. He's ready to wipe us out and restart everything with Moses himself. Think about it. So the things that the Most High don't put on us, yeah. This brother's funny.
It's like if you find out the Most High, if you got AIDS, it's like you better pray and be like, oh, thank you, thank you, just get me.
Well, nah. What it is really, everything that the Most High gives us is a wake up call.
All right.
You know, everything that he gives us is a wake-up call until you're finally dead. And that's how you got to look at it. Like, yeah, you don't deserve the things that, the wickedness that you've committed in life, the punishments, they don't even add up. The wickedness is greater than the punishment because the Most High is trying to preserve you to move forward. That's the thing. So, that's the point he was trying to make.
Hey, go to 2 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 1. I'm sorry, we're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip that, Joe.
2 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 1.
All right, read that first part.
About that time came Antiochus with dishonor out of the country of Persia.
So when you read about this, Antiochus, he was coming with his army. He was gonna be entering into Jerusalem with his army to try to overthrow us, right? So he's like pissed. Jump to verse 3.
Verse 3. Now when he came to Ecbatana, news was brought him what had happened unto Nicanor and Timotheus.
So you got Nicanor and Timotheus were the two people that he set under him to go. I believe he went to, I might be butchering it, but I believe he went to Jerusalem to go to war, but they didn't win. So now he's coming back, right? To report to Antiochus what happened. Go to verse 4.
Verse 4. Then swelling with anger, he thought to avenge upon the Jews the disgrace done unto him by those that made him flee.
Keep reading.
Therefore commanded he his chariotmen to drive without ceasing, and to dispatch the journey. The judgment of God now following him.
So when his two commanders under him came and told him how they pretty much lost the war in Jerusalem, he got pissed. He got his army together. And he started heading towards Jerusalem. So now it says that when he started driving, it said, therefore commanded he his chariotmen to drive without ceasing and to dispatch the journey. It says the judgment of God now following him. So now the Most High's judgment is upon him and it's following him. Keep reading.
For he had spoken proudly in this sort, that he will come to Jerusalem and make it a common burying place of the Jews.
So now he's speaking blasphemy. He's speaking blasphemy. Keep reading. It's going to go into some of the blasphemies.
Verse 5.
Yeah, go ahead.
But the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, smote him with an incurable and invisible plague.
Now think about it. Can you hit somebody with an incurable and invisible plague?
Wow.
That's going to mess up your insides. So the next time somebody comes at you like that and you want to whoop their ass, you want to slap them in the face, think about what the Most High can do.
Yeah, basically your physical punishment is nothing. It's like, think about it real quick.
Yeah.
When the Most High sent Moses to go I've been in Exodus lately, so it's hitting me. When the Most High sent Moses to get the people, did he say, Moses, go to Pharaoh, whoop on him, beat him, and then he'll let the people go? He said, no. Tell him, thus saith the Lord, let my people go. Right? And then what did he said, I will harden his heart. Listen, the Most High said he sent a gross darkness that could be felt. And then when you go on the Wisdom of Solomon and read about that, bro, they was killing themselves in suicide. It was so dark. What can you do that's greater than that? When he sent the plague, listen, when he sent the Passover through Egypt and killed the firstborn, what can you do? You might get a few punches in, but you ain't killing a whole nation's firstborn down to the damn cattle. Come on, your power ain't that great. And then you try to take power from the Most High by fighting a battle that you weren't even set up to win. we got to see it, man, that the Most High's power, his reach, like his eyes are 10 times greater than the sun. Bro, his reach is 10 times greater than yours. You can't, what they say, you can't box with God.
Okay.
Right? Go ahead.
Wait, keep reading, brother.
For as soon as he had spoken these words, a pain of the bowels that was remediless came upon him, and sore torments of the inner parts.
He couldn't stop. The Most High started hitting his body so bad, it set a pain in his bowels.
Could it be remedy? There was no remedy for it.
He couldn't stop using the wrench.
Said the shits on his chariot.
Oh snap!
Let's finish it up. Let's finish it up.
Verse 6, and that most justly, for he had tormented other men's bowels with many and strange torments.
Keep going.
Howbeit, he nothing at all ceased from his bragging.
So through all that, he's still going.
Right.
He's still bragging, talking about what he's gonna do to us. Keep going.
But still was filled with pride, breathing out fire in his rage against the Jews, and commanding to haste the journey.
So now he's, with all that happening, he's still bragging. He's still going in. He commands all his chariots to go faster. He said to make haste. Keep going.
But it came to pass that he fell down from his chariot, carried violently.
So he commands him to go faster, and he falls off the chariot, and he starts being carried.
Right. Go ahead.
So that having a sore fall, all the members of his body were much pained.
So now his insides hurt and his outsides hurt, and now his pride is hurting as well.
Most High is
Keep
mad
going.
at this guy.
And thus he had that a little afore though he might command the waves of the sea. So proud was he beyond the condition of man, and weighed the height mountains in a balance, was now cast on the ground and carried in a horse litter.
He was carried in a horse litter. What is litter? For your animal. That's where they use the restroom. That's where they started carrying him in. Because his body was so destroyed. After he fell, it's like he couldn't stand up no more. So he had to carry himself. So that's what they carried him in. Keep reading.
Con. Showing forth unto all the manifest power of God.
Keep going.
So that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man. And whilst he lived in sorrow and pain, his flesh fell away, and the filthiness of his smell was noisome to all his army.
Wow. This dude was alive and rotting at the skin with worms coming out, and he stunk.
His army couldn't stand it.
Think about the Most High's power, man. What man can do that? Go ahead.
Last verse, verse 10.
Verse 10, and the man that thought a little afore he could reach to the stars of heaven, no man could endure to carry for his intolerable stink.
Damn.
Nobody wanted to carry him.
And the Most High did that, not a man.
Yeah, read verse 11.
Oh, verse 11.
Here therefore, being plagued, he began to leave off his great pride, and to come to the knowledge of himself by the scourge of God, his pain increasing every moment.
And you know what's dope? Because I was thinking about this. This scripture is cold because I was thinking about it. It's like, think about it. You physically think that you can fight a battle with somebody, or your physical harm is going to do something, but think about it. What lesson is it going to show them?
Nothing.
It's not going to show them anything. See, the lesson comes in when the Most High starts, like he plagued this dude. It wasn't like he hit him for one day. Nah, bro, he was catching it for a little while. And what did it make him do? He had to sit back and think, like, damn, okay, I'm prideful as hell. Let me dial it back some.
Oh, you're going to see.
You gotta keep reading.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He converted. Verse 12.
Yeah.
And when himself could not abide his own smell,
Damn.
he said these words: it is meet to be subject unto God, and that a man that is mortal should not proudly think of himself as if he were God.
Damn.
This wicked person vowed also unto the Lord.
Hey, where is that? What is that?
The second Maccabees, chapter 9.
Who now no more would have mercy upon him, saying thus.
Go to verse 17.
Verse 17.
So right here, he pretty much, he makes a vow. Like after all this happens, he knows the Most High touched him. So he makes a vow, and he vows that he's going to do right. He's going to start, just read verse 17.
Verse 17, yea, this is 2 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 17. Yea, that also he will become a Jew himself and go through all the world that was inhabited and declare the power of the Most High.
He built back all the temples. He took away the tributary money that the Jews had to pay. He restored everything. And was like, you know, I would be a Jew too. And he started like actually going around and preaching the word.
But imagine if a man would have ran up on him and started punching him in the face. He would have got even more madder and just slew that man. God. But see, the power of the Most High did what? It changed him. God. See that, and that's the whole thing, man. Is you know, man, that was a good class because it just shows that. That's why the Most High says, give place to wrath, God. For vengeance is mine. Because why? The vengeance that you want to take is mediocre, is whack, is garbage. But the Most High, he orchestrates. And he makes a person, when they're falling, think about Pharaoh, how he felt when the firstborn of all his kingdom died, including his own son. Now you have to sit back and think, like, damn, that was the Most High that did that. Y'all can leave. Even this man, he had to think, like, damn, that was God. Because no man is doing it. And that's the whole point, you know? But, I mean...
Man, I have 5 more, but...
No, you got your mic.
Yeah, I have 5 more, but I'll just give you the scriptures. I'll just give you the scriptures. It's Psalms 37, verse 28. And it says, for the Lord loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off.
What was that? Psalms what?
Chapter 37 and verse 28. So that's just showing how the Most High loves judgment, man. That's not it. We're not supposed to love judgment. We're not supposed to love doing something harmful to somebody else. That's not supposed to be in our spirit. Go to Hebrew, and it'll be Hebrews 10 and 31. That's the one we always read. It says it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Think about it. It's not a fearful thing to fall into your hands or to fall into police. It's a fearful thing to fall into his hands. And we just read why. 2 Maccabees chapter 9, right? Now we have Matthew chapter 18 and verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. So if somebody comes against you and they're contentious and they offend you, they try to get you thrown off in the spirit. Think on this scripture. How it's woe unto whoever comes against you. How it's better for a millstone to be hanging around your neck, because the Most High will do what we just read to him.
Can I add one right in there? Just Matthew 10 verse 28. And fear not them which can kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Showing that the Most High, bro, yeah, they can physically try to harm, but the Most High rip up that spirit and that body in one swift move. Had them bowels running and had your spirit running. Right?
Got it. And last two, 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 6. And it says, seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. So the Most High is going to recompense, man. Leave it out of your hands. Just stay focused. Stay on the path. Don't worry about it. Last one. 1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 61. And thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome. And that's how we're going to end it. As long as your trust is in the Most High, you can't be overcame. It's impossible.
It's a wild class, man. Y'all got any questions? I know we went over a little bit. Y'all got questions? La, anything online? Khan, well, we know we went over a little bit, but we wanted to make sure that he got the scriptures out. That was a good class. Something to think about when you want to sit back and get into your fist fights and hop online and get in your arguments and get online and think you blasting somebody, and let the Most High deal with it, man. It's not your place anyway. Your place is to, when the good shepherd comes, the servant is found doing. That's what you should be doing, and doing ain't running around trying to avenge yourself. So, Hey, those of you online, we do apologize for the technical difficulties. We know the feed kept going in and out. You know, Satan, spirits got to always be on something, right? So they was on the feed today. But we do appreciate those that stuck with us. Again, if you have any, you know, any offerings, any donations, you can send those to the school, 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. You got any money you want to give us, donate at the Wells Fargo account. The account number is 101-580-6167. We also got the Google Wallet under isbhpk@gmail.com. All right? So, I mean, if there's no questions in here, again, that was a S.O.W class. If there's no questions online, we're just going to salute them out. Say shalom.
Shalom!
I remember there was a time when we was kings and queens, prophets and rulers, judging the earth. But now we stuck at the bottom of the totem pole. Where did we go wrong as a people? I think our people need to understand this. We're the